the court is not going to grant leave unless it looks at the material and satisfies itself that there is a case that can possibly succeed. Bribery, of course, by its very nature, is not something that is easy to prove. But in this case, there were a number of affidavits. In fact, there were about 7 affidavits or so. One of them referred to a tape recording, a sound recording, that when this person was receiving the money, the person said, "Hold ya." And she still has that on her telephone.
But that was of the agent, not the voice of Francis Fonseca.
Oh no, let me make it clear that even in our grounds, we are not saying that Francis Fonseca bribed anyone. We are not saying that any bribery that was committed was with his consent or knowledge. What we are saying is that agents of his bribed, but that the Representation of the People's Act catches also that, and that in fact candidates themselves are responsible for the acts of their agents. In fact, the proper interpretation ought to be in favor of the transparency and integrity of the process, that you have to run your campaign in such a way that agents are not going to bribe. And then you see, if agents bribe, it also, irrespective of the absence of proof, suggests, especially if they have quite a bit of money, that they might have been doing it with the approval of the candidate, even if you can't actually prove the involvement of the candidate. So that was the case. And there is no finding, but the court found that there is evidence upon which, on this ground, bribery, an election petition can be filed. And I think actually it's a significant and historic decision really for Belize on a whole, because there's this thinking that, well, money in elections is a must. And in fact, the culture and the position should be that money in an election is just simply wrong, and that for democracy, people need to deal with the issues, and that's from both sides. I'm talking about the electorate.
But how is this different, sir, from the incident where Mr. Penner publicly admitted to myself and Channel 7 that he paid for the naturalization of 1,000 people in his area?
Well, first of all, you are talking to me about what you heard him say. I don't know those circumstances. I don't know those facts. If it happens that a candidate pays persons so that they can register, as a matter of law, that is different from paying a person to vote. What the sections are saying in the Representation of the People's Act is where you offer or pay somebody to vote or to refrain from voting. It is perhaps, as has been said, in Belizean politics, common for people to help with school fees and all of this type of thing. That is something that one, you know, as a country, one has to address. The matter of paying money to people for voting, that is in a class and a category all by itself. That is dealt with under the Representation of the People's Act. The matter that you refer to, which may have happened, I don't know, that you will not find that in the Representation of the People's Act, you see? So it's in an entirely different world, so to speak.